The secret combination to Mustard Island. Mustard Island was different from the others. Shanleya recognized it by the weedy landscape and the barren patches of ground. She could see the guardian out there with a shovel, working feverishly to turn over the soil. The guardian of Mustard Island is a good guardian, Shanleya remembered Grandfather saying. For a guardian, that is. Grandfather told her how the mustards thrived in bare ground where most of the rain was lost as runoff. Moisture that did soak into the soil was soon lost to the sun and wind. The mustards adapted to these harsh conditions with short life cycles. The seeds sprouted easily after a rain and jumped up from the soil, quickly putting out leaves and a stem, flower, and then seed. Like a radish, these plants grew quickly and were done and dead early in the year, while other plants were just getting started. The guardian saw the girl paddling towards the island and welcomed her ashore. I have a challenge for you, he offered. If you know the combination of Mustard Island, then you are welcome to come and collect mustard greens anytime. But if you do not know the combination, then I will ban you from this island forever. The guardian pointed to a pile of wooden pieces carved and painted to look like flower parts. The challenge was to put the right parts in the right order to create a model of a mustard flower. Shanleya knew this game well, for she had played with a similar model in Grandfather's lodge for as long as she could remember. Whenever she put the model together correctly, Grandfather gave her a special treat, a spicy yellow-brown paste made from crushed mustard seeds. Shanleya liked to spread the mustard paste on sandwiches of roasted gazelle and lettuce. Most flowers started out wrapped in a bud of green or sometimes colored sepals that burst open to reveal the flower, Shanleya recalled. Turn a flower over and you will see the sepals hiding there. Shanleya knew that mustards have 4 sepals and 4 petals, so she set those pieces up and put the extras back. Then she picked up the stamens. Grandfather had told her that the stamens always stay men, to help her remember that these were the male parts. Shanleya placed 4 tall stamens and 2 shorter ones where they belonged. Then put the pistil, the female part, in the very center. Great, said the guardian. That is the correct combination to every flower within the mustard family. There are more than 3,200 unique species here, and they are all edible, so help yourself. Shanleya gathered some mustard greens for salads, plus ripe seeds for Grandfather's mustard paste. After helping the guardian turn over a patch of ground to grow more mustards, she gave him a hug and set out for the next island. The Pea Islands. The Pea Islands were easy to find. The main island was covered with bright blooms, while its sister islands, Mimosa and Senna, were close enough that a person could swim the channel between them. Grandfather often told Shanleya how these islands were connected to each other through great branches underwater. Now, for the first time, she could peer down through the water and see the connecting branches herself. The branches were said to connect these islands with all other islands to a single great trunk rooted in the ocean floor. If you were to dive deep into the ocean, Grandfather said, you could follow the branches back in time to see how the plants on different islands came from common ancestors. Shanleya paddled directly to Pea Island. She knew exactly where to land the canoe, for the guardian of Pea Island was proud and likable, at least during the day, and he put up a great banner at the water's edge. Beneath the banner was a dock, shielded on the sides by wings made from the same cloth. It was like a pea flower, except for one thing. To complete the flower, Shanleya paddled into the little port and tied up the canoe. The regular flowers of the peas have unique petals called the banner, wings, and a keel, much like the keel of a boat, Grandfather always said. If you can recognize those petals, then you can recognize the plants of the pea family. The pea guardian greeted Shanleya with a beautiful bouquet of sweet pea blossoms. Welcome, welcome, he said. May I show you around? Yes, please do, answered the girl eagerly, and the two of them walked together. At first glance, the plants seemed very different from one another, Shanleya noted. Some were short plants, while others were sizable trees, but Shanleya noticed the flower parts all had a banner, wings, and keel, just like Grandfather had said. A few species are mildly poisonous, the guardian warned her as they admired the locoweed and lupin. Finally, they came to a garden of peas and beans where the sweet guardian helped Shanleya gather enough food for a feast. Peas, peanuts, pinto beans, lima beans, soybeans, cowpeas, black-eyed peas, chickpeas, lentils, and garbanzo beans. After the harvest, the girl and the guardian rested in a cozy patch of clover, searching for 4-leaf clovers. Shanleyas noticed that even the little clover blossoms had a banner, wings, and keel. The petals were just a bit skinnier than on the other flowers. She could have stayed all day, but Father Sun stared down at her from high in the sky, urging her to continue the journey. It was nearly noon, and she had a long way to go. Shanleyas thanked the guardian for his time, loaded the bountiful harvest in her canoe, and paddled away. The island map. Shanleyas spread grandfather's tattered map on her lap. She looked at the route of where she had been and where she had yet to go. It was a lot of paddling for one day. Grandfather wanted her to follow this route. Learn the patterns of the plants on these islands first, he had said. That will prepare you to study other plants later on. Her people had developed the map over many generations. Charting the islands was the easy part, but the people could not dive deep enough in time to see many of the connecting branches. So they looked for clues in the living plants to figure out how the islands were related. They noticed that all the islands on one side of the great tree shared unique features that were not found on the other islands. Shanleyas paddled until she thought she was in a good place to see the difference. This looks like the right spot, Shanleyas thought, storing the paddle in the canoe. She carefully folded the map and put it away, then ate her lunch. Mother had packed her a delicious wild goose meat sandwich and a jar of red clover tea. From her collecting bag, the girl added mustard greens and snitched some yummy green peas. Thank you, Father Sun, Shanleyas said, for the great bounty you have provided. Savoring the good food and the peaceful day, Shanleyas stared mindlessly at the leaves floating in the water beside the canoe. It wasn't until she popped the last bite of the sandwich into her mouth that her mind woke up to what was in front of her. She scooped 2 leaves out of the water and studied them carefully. In one leaf, the veins ran in straight rows, while in the other, the veins branched out like a net. She remembered now. Grandfather once told her that a seed from any island on the shaded left side of the map would sprout with only 1 leaf unfolding from the seed. He had called it a monocotyledon, meaning it had 1 seed leaf. The plants grew with mostly straight-veined leaves, like grass. Seeds from the other islands were like the beans she collected. Plant a bean and it would unfold a leaf from each half of the seed. It was a dicotyledon, meaning it had 2 seed leaves. These plants grew mostly net-veined leaves. The flowers were different too, Shanleyas remembered. Monocots, as the people liked to say, had flowers with parts mostly in 3s, while dicots had flower parts in 4s and 5s. The mustard flower, she recalled, had 4 petals and net-veined leaves, so it was a dicot. She checked the samples in her bags, and all were dicots.
What does that say?
Monocotyledon C. Some with separate petals and others with the petals fused together. Now it was time to learn more about the monocots with their straight-veined leaves and flower parts in 3s. Shanleyas paddled eagerly toward an area marked on the map as the lily cluster for her next lesson in botany. Navigating the lily cluster. The lily cluster was a region of numerous small islands with similar characteristics. Each island was home to a different family of plants, Grandfather had explained, but they shared a lot of characteristics in common. Right away, Shanleyas spotted the true lily island with the lily guardian's magnificent shelter. It looked like a teepee, but it was made from an overturned lily blossom with 1 petal removed to make a doorway. The girl tied her canoe by the shore and hollered her friendly, "Hello," as she approached. "Hello, hello, and hello again," returned the guardian, sipping from a lily cup. "What can I do for a fine young girl like yourself?" "Would you please teach me about the lily family?" she asked politely. Very well," replied the lily guardian merrily. "However, you must first answer one simple question. How many petals does this flower have?" "A simple question," said the girl, "but not such a simple answer." Grandfather had taught her to start at the outside of a flower and go in by layers. First the sepals, then petals and stamens. With the pistil in the very middle, the lily looked as though it had 6 petals, but the first three were really sepals, the same size and color as the petals. This flower has 3 sepals, 3 petals, 6 stamens, and a 3-parted pistil. Sometimes the sepals and petals are labeled together as 6 tepals, Shanleyas said confidently. Very good, said the guardian. If you have a flower with 3 sepals and 3 petals, the same size and color, then you can bet it belongs to one of the families in the lily cluster, although it may be tricky to determine exactly which island it came from. The guardian dug up a yellow bell for Shanley to taste the starchy root, a bulb-like corm. Wow, this yellow bell is delicious and sweet, she exclaimed, but these flowers are much too pretty to dig up. Instead, they picked a small bouquet for Shanley to take home to her mother. Then the guardian cast lily petals out across the water, magically making a bridge to a nearby island. The most poisonous plants in the lily cluster are on Bunchflower Island, the guardian kindly cautioned her, pointing to some death camas beside the trail. Shanley could see where the islands got its names, since the plants had bunches of little white or greenish-white flowers with parts in threes. But not all bunch flowers are poisonous, so Shanley collected some beargrass leaves for her father to make baskets with. Then the girl and the guardian crossed back over the bridge of lily petals. Before it dissolved, she thanked him for his kindness and continued on her journey.